So Minneapolis, we have some news for you. Minneapolis has been the testing grounds for reimagining policing since the deaths of George Floyd and now, others. In June 2020, the Minneapolis City Council said, "We are here today to begin the process of ending the Minneapolis Police Department and creating a new transformative model for cultivating safety in Minneapolis." And I think they've done it. They've accomplished that.
They've transformed things.
Yeah, they have. 9 of the 13 council members said we should defund the police. Now, a little fact here. I don't even know if we can call it. Has Facebook fact-checked this yet? The Blaze has come out and said by September 2020, violent crimes had spiked, as did property crimes. Even arson was up 55% compared to the same time in 2019.
Just the 55%.
Just 55%.
Not 55,000%.
No.
Could be.
No.
If it wasn't for them, it would have been up 55,000%.
Now, at the same time, more than 100 police officers left the department in the first 9 months of 2020. By November 2020, violent carjackings had skyrocketed 537% compared to the previous year. But
shocking.
Yeah.
It's amazing how these things change. Joe Biden ran away from his past in authoring the 94 crime bill and sponsoring it. He pushed for that really hard back in the 90s. Who else pushed for that back hard in the 90s was the Congressional Black Caucus, who thought, you know what? Like, maybe it's not okay that you guys just let criminals run rampant over all of our communities. Maybe you should start throwing these people in jail for longer periods of time.
This is the same crime bill that Joe Biden now describes as potato.
Yes, as a potato.
Yeah.
But also has been called racist by everybody on the left today. So what was the request of the Congressional Black Caucus back then is racist today.
Okay,
keep track.
Well, now I just want to throw this in. The Minneapolis City Council has voted unanimously to approve $6.4 million in additional funding to the police department. Now that was back in February 2021. As the people of Minnesota started to reimagine the politicians shutting their pie holes. Last week, Mayor Jacob Fry and the City Council agreed to a $1.6 billion budget that includes $191 million for the police department, restoring its funding to nearly the level that was held before George Floyd was killed in 2020. So that whole experiment
went well.
It went really well. Really well. Any more good news? The number is...
this is Good News Tuesday.
That is good news. That
arson is up 55%.
No, that people are understanding now it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Now, really good news. That's just good news. Really good news is that they would then fire all the politicians and they would go, boy, who was it that said we should do that? That was a really bad idea. And fire those people. But the problem is, I mean, you have, all the money in the world, Minneapolis. If I'm a cop, I don't think I'm coming to work for you because I don't trust you.
Oh, I wouldn't work in that city if my life depended on it.
No.
At least in the police department. And, at some point, like, do we stop and say, how stupid you have to be to believe that would have worked in the first place? I mean, how dumb do you have to be to think that was a good option? Because at some level, you might have the typical politician who might believe ideologically that there's some bizarre way to route yourself through the mental gymnastics that would be required to say that getting rid of police is going to lower crime.
Cabbage Patch Dolls.
Right. But what about the average Democrat who went along with this? I mean, was there no point where you thought, you know what? Yeah, I know MSNBC is telling me this is true, but is it? Is there a moment you reconsider what they tell you?
Sliding glass window.
Thank you, Joe. It's a great point. But apparently not. There's no moment, is there? This never happens.
No.
There's never a point where they sit back and say, gosh,
But there is a point, I really, truly believe, there is a point that the American people say, oh, okay. And it's happening right now. It's happening.